Have you ever met someone and felt like the universe paused for a moment? As if this person, friend, stranger, mentor, wasn't just passing through, but arriving, right on cue, right when you needed them. It's not always romantic. Sometimes it's someone who challenges you or opens a door inside your mind. But the feeling is undeniable, like fate is pulling the strings behind the curtain of reality. Was it pure chance, or was it something deeper? A hidden thread, connecting your inner world to the outer one. In this video, we dive into the mind of Carl Jung, the man who believed there are no coincidences, only meaning disguised as chance. We'll explore why some people feel uncannily familiar, as if your soul has met them before, why certain connections hit you like lightning, and others fade like a forgotten dream, and most importantly, how your unconscious self might be the one choosing who shows up in your life. We'll unpack synchronicity, the invisible force that aligns your emotions with external events, and ask the question no one wants to face. Before you can recognize the right person, have you truly recognized yourself? Let's begin. And hey, before we dive deeper, don't forget to subscribe. You'll get early access to new videos on self-discovery, healing, and the mysteries that shape our lives. Now, back to Jung. He didn't see life as random. He saw it as symbolic. Each person you meet, each moment of connection, it's a reflection of something buried deep within you. When someone enters your life and it feels like destiny, like they're part of your story before you even know their name, that's not chance. That's synchronicity. It's your unconscious sending out a signal and the world responding. These moments are mirrors, sometimes comforting, sometimes brutally honest, but always meaningful. And yet not every soul-shaking connection is built to last, because the unconscious doesn't crave peace, it craves growth. And often, it's the people who wound us, confront us, or leave us behind, who push us toward who we're meant to become. If you keep falling into the same kind of relationship, the same heartbreak, the same silence, the same emotional distance, Carl Jung wouldn't call it bad luck. He'd call it a message. Because when the same pain repeats itself in different faces, it's not fate. It's your unconscious trying to speak. Your psyche is wired for one thing, wholeness. And until you confront the wounds hidden in the dark, you'll be pulled into the same cycle, over and over again. That's why certain relationships feel eerily familiar. They echo your past, not by accident, but by design. You're not cursed. You're being shown what still bleeds inside you, what still begs for healing. Maybe as a child you felt invisible, unseen, and now as an adult you're drawn to people who ignore your needs, not because you enjoy the pain, but because something deep within you is still trying to understand it, to rewrite that unfinished chapter. But here's the brutal truth. Until you become aware of the pattern, you're trapped in it. The same faces, the same outcomes, the same ache. Self-awareness isn't just a concept. It's the key that turns the lock. Because if you never trace the pain to its origin, you'll keep blaming the symptoms. You'll call it rejection, misfortune, or timing, when in reality it's a mirror reflecting the beliefs you haven't yet unlearned. Jung believed in individuation, the process of becoming whole, of reclaiming every lost part of yourself. Only then can you form a connection that's not built on need, but on truth. When you're fragmented, you attract chaos that matches your inner disarray. But when you're whole, truly whole, you no longer chase love. You recognize it. And this isn't some vague metaphor. This is psychological, energetic, real. So many people search for the one, without first becoming the version of themselves who could even recognize them. You ask, why do I keep attracting people who don't value me? But the deeper question is, do you value you? Because the moment your relationship with yourself transforms, so does everything else. Those who once pulled you in like gravity begin to lose their power, and new, aligned souls begin to emerge, not because they weren't there before, but because now you can see them. You're no longer trying to complete your broken pieces with someone else's presence. You're showing up whole. And from that place, everything changes. But a word of caution. There's a razor-thin line between synchronicity and projection. Just because someone stirs something deep in you doesn't mean they're meant for you. So when you feel that powerful pull towards someone, ask yourself, is this alignment? Or am I chasing the ghost of an unmet need? Carl Jung once said, "What we deny within ourselves, we project onto others." Think about that. That magnetic pull you felt toward someone's confidence, their fire, their light, it may not be because they had something you lacked, but because they were holding up a mirror to the parts of you you've forgotten or rejected. In those moments, they become more than a person. They become a projection, a canvas for your unconscious longing. But here's the danger. The moment they falter, when their imperfections surface, the illusion shatters. And it's not them who changed. It's the image you painted that could no longer hold. Because you weren't seeing them. You were seeing you, the version of you that still waits to be reclaimed. So how can you tell the difference between illusion and truth? Real connection doesn't leave you dizzy. It doesn't leave you questioning your worth, chasing validation, or begging for clarity. It feels like gravity, not chaos. It grounds you, calms you, it brings you home, to yourself. Jung emphasized something we rarely talk about, intuition. That quiet, persistent voice beneath logic, beneath fear, beneath all the noise. He believed the unconscious doesn't speak in language, but in feeling, a sensation, a tightening in your chest, a weight in your stomach, a soft whisper that something is off. Have you ever ignored it? Stayed in a relationship where your body felt like it was on alert, your nervous system bracing for the next wound, while your mind kept saying, "I'm just overthinking, I just need to try harder." But the truth is, your body knew. It always does. When you're with the right person, you're not holding your breath. You're not walking on glass. You're not living in a state of emotional suspense. You're safe. You exhale. Real love doesn't scream. It doesn't chase. It hums. It whispers. And you'll hear it clearly once you've silenced the noise of fear, need, and self-abandonment. One of the greatest lies modern culture sells us is that intensity equals love, that fireworks, breakdowns, and emotional whiplash are proof of depth. But Jung would tell us this: chaos is not connection, pain is not passion, struggle is not proof of soul. If love feels like a war, you have to ask, are you fighting for connection, or are you fighting your own fear of being alone? Because genuine love, the real kind, it doesn't ask you to shrink. It doesn't demand you twist yourself into something small just to be enough. The right person doesn't dim your light. They hand you more space to shine. Before we go deeper, if this message resonates with you, if it helped you see something in a new way, consider sharing it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to support this journey, you can leave a donation by clicking the thanks button below. We read every message, and we're endlessly grateful. Now, let's continue. Here's a hard truth. Most people say they want the right person, but deep down, they're still clinging to someone who clearly isn't. They justify the pain. They rewrite the red flags into maybe. They wait, hoping time will fix what time keeps proving it won't. And the years pass, but nothing changes. Carl Jung would call this what it is, a soul trying to bloom in barren soil, and it can't. When a connection constantly drains you, wounds you, leaves you in pieces, it's not a test of your devotion. It's a signal from your unconscious, a warning. Something in you is still trying to heal by repeating the hurt, still trying to find love in the echo of familiar pain. And until you see that, you'll keep confusing endurance with loyalty, pain with passion, and staying with strength. But letting go isn't failure, it's wisdom. It's the quiet decision to stop abandoning yourself just to feel wanted. And when you finally choose peace over chaos, stillness over the storm, something shifts. You stop chasing, you start allowing, and in that open space, someone new appears, not because you searched harder, but because you stopped shrinking for less. The right person won't come wrapped in perfection. They won't check every box or dazzle you with constant intensity, but their presence won't cost you you. You'll feel seen, not scrutinized, calm, not confused, inspired, but never overwhelmed. There will be no begging for clarity, it will just be there. A quiet, undeniable yes in your body before your mind even understands why. So instead of asking, "Is this person right for me?" try this. Am I still being true to myself in their presence? Because when you stop betraying your own truth, the people meant for you will no longer pass you by. They'll feel you instantly, and you'll recognize them without question. Carl Jung taught that the greatest journey we'll ever take is inward. When you stop avoiding your shadows, when you choose to heal instead of repeat, something in you shifts. You rise into a new frequency, and suddenly the relationships that once consumed you no longer fit. You won't have to beg for connection. You won't have to prove your worth. You'll simply meet people who see you because now you see yourself. And when that person arrives, it won't feel like fantasy. It will feel like truth, like peace, like home. If this message touched something within you, I invite you to share your story in the comments. Are you still on the path of becoming? Or have you felt what real alignment feels like? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This space is here for people like you, for those who are ready to explore the unconscious, to understand the patterns behind love, and to rediscover the power of self. And if there's a topic you'd like to see in a future video, drop it in the comments. Your voice matters here. You're part of this journey. Thank you for showing up today. And remember this, before you find the right person, become the one who can recognize them. That's where everything begins.